Good morning, everybody. Sorry for the delay. Happy Monday and welcome back to Ribbon Candy Hooking. I'm Deanna. Great to see you. Sorry about that. Few struggles. Good to see you. Let's see. Let's get started here. Oh, I love to see all those thumbs up. Thank you so much. It's infectious. Once somebody thumbs up, share, like, subscribe, all of those things. I got some questions over the weekend. People asking, they keep missing my videos. So they're typically pretty formulaic, right? It's noon on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and on Friday we do it at 7 for cocktail night. But if you are subscribed, it's not even a thing, is it? Because you will be informed when there's a video that's about to go live.
The bell notification.
Yeah, the bell notification is the thing to hit. So it's good to see you all. I hope you had a great weekend. I had a great weekend. I can't wait to tell you all about it. A little bit high strung. Heidi, great to see you. Dag, good to see you. Good morning. I have the wrong glasses on too, and I can't find my glasses. I'm falling apart. I think I'm going to do okay though. Let me just try these guys. This might be a little bit better. We have a bunch of things to cover. That's much better. Oh, good. Karen, good to see you. Good morning, everybody from the Black Forest, Colorado. And Heidi is in Belgium outside Brugge, which is Bruges to us in English. Somebody said this yesterday. I was watching a stand-up comedian. Jay, you would know who he was because we watch this guy a lot, but very funny guy. And he was doing a show in Toronto, and oh no, it was in Spain. He also did a show in Toronto. Heavy set guy. He doesn't say any swears. You know, he's kind of like, it'll come to us. What?
Jim Gaffigan?
Yes, Jim Gaffigan. He did a show in. He kept mentioning the name Regina in Canada, like the capital of that province. What province is that? That the capital of is Regina. Is that Saskatchewan? My geography is awful in Canada, but anyway, then he did. I was watching back to back while I was working. Did a live show in Spain, and he made that point that I have been making for years, that it's so weird to me that when you're from a certain country, like Heidi's from Brugge, that we say Bruges. And it's like, why do we do that? Like, I mean, some words are difficult to say, but he made the joke that it's almost like someone introducing themselves and saying, hi, my name is Bob. And you say, hey, Sam, nice to meet you. And they say, no, my name is Bob. Well, I prefer Sam, and it's easier for me to say, so I'm going to go with that. But it's just one of those things we've always done, and it's probably too difficult to change it now. But I thought that was funny. It was a great, great show. Karen and Doreen, good to see you. Rainy in upstate New York. Wah, wah. It's bright and clear here, but things could change, right? They could certainly come this way. Cheryl, great to see you. Good morning from Maine. Little lobster there. Good to see you. Robin, great to see you. A little bit of snow in Wisconsin, but not bad. We might be on the upswing. It might be where we're headed. I really hope. Linda, good to see you. It's going to be 70 today. Ooh, in New Jersey. Well, that's probably quite similar to what we might get. Riding on your coattails there. It's very mild. Becky, good to see you in Indiana. Great to see you. Cat's Gallery, good morning. Good to see you. Kirsten, good morning. Madcap Monday, good reminder. So if you are part of our Facebook group, if you are a Facebook doer, Mondays are our Madcap Mondays in the Ribbon Rug Hooking and Punch Needle Club. So you are very welcome if you have your own rug hooking company or pattern company, or you just want to experiment with selling patterns or supplies, yarn, wool, whatever. Monday is the day for us in that group. And it's a big group. We're headed toward 10,000 people now. So if you have something to sell, today is the day. Get in there and post it, because everybody looks forward to Mondays, doing a little bit of shopping on Mondays. So you should enjoy that. You should at least check it out if you are online. Heather, good to see you. Heather, I have some news for you in a minute. I already ran with the random generator, the 3 winners for today, because our episodes are getting super, super long. So I thought I would just cut to that as soon as I do my greeting. So we're going to do that right after this. And then we're going to look at the new copy of Rug Hooking Magazine, which I just got over the weekend. I don't know about you, but if you're a subscriber, and I hope you are, this just came this weekend. So we're going to look at that together too. Penny, great to see you. I feel like I haven't seen you for a while in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Oh, Linda in Massachusetts, good morning. Crystal, good to see you. I got your message. You are such a good person. You are much better than I or me or whatever it is supposed to be. Beverly, great to see you. I love the way that you're Pattern came out with the clovers, right? It's because they ended up looking like 4-leaf clovers. That was the free pattern that went with last month's swatch set, which was Vintage Tea Room. It looked absolutely beautiful with your velvet and your white. It was absolutely beautiful. Let's see, Heather, Linda, Beverly, Linda, Denise, good to see you in North Texas. Great to see you. Happy Monday. Paula, happy Monday. Dave, great to see you. Happy Monday. Everybody. April, Paula, happy Monday. Cold in Great Britain. Oh, I bet. Paula, did you catch the Friday night episode? Because it was about a British hooker from Cornwall called Diane Cox. I know many of you tuned into that. I hope you caught it over the weekend. It will be there for hopefully eternity. But I thought it was a great video. It was a full 2-hour length show. And I was both paying tribute to Diane Cox, who died in June of 2021, sadly, very, very sadly. But there's not a lot on her, particularly in the U.S. Once in a while, a mention or an article in Rug Hooking Magazine, something small like a one-pager. But we have yet to have a book about the work of Diane Cox, and it is vast, and it is inspiring, and it is beautiful. And at the end of the show, I mentioned that I'm going to kick up a handbag contest that has to do with Diane Cox incorporating a handbag into your project. We'll talk about that tomorrow because I'm still hot on that trail, and I need to develop that a little bit, and then I'll put that to you and see if it inspires you too, if it's something that you'd like to do as a challenge kind of thing with our group here, just for fun. So let me see, let me make sure. Oh, Catalina, good morning. Great to see you. We're closer to spring. Absolutely. What is it, the end of this month that we do the, that it's officially spring? But I think we do the daylight savings before then, right? Because we're getting quite a longer day at this point, aren't we? I mean, I can see it, I can feel it. It's making a big difference. Oh, Sandra, good to see you. Paula T, good morning in sunny California. Crafters Grimoire, good morning from the Gulf of Mexico. All of our buddies are here. I love it. I'm just checking your comments. And Cindy, good to see you. Happy coffee time. Catching up with you all. So Friday's cocktail show was great. We did Diane Cox, but one of the reasons we covered Diane Cox was because in our giveaway book that I will be giving away 3 copies of in just a minute, this is the book. It's Tamara Pavich's Rug Hooking Journeys, and it's very Diane Cox heavy. There's quite a bit on Diane. Interview with her different than when I was looking at on the Ragged Life blogspot on Friday night. Lots of artists in this book, but Diane is one of them, and she's featured often. That's not a picture of Diane. Let me show you the picture of Diane just to regroup. But there's lots of images, and it's beautiful. A lot more images than what we looked like of Diane's studio, what we looked at on Friday. But again, lots of artists. This book is phenomenal, and we have covered it more than once, like over more than one episode on coffee times and cocktail nights. So we covered Diane specifically on Friday, but this book is absolutely wonderful, put out by Rug Hooking Magazine, right? This is one of their books in their library for rug hookers and rug makers. And this contest is also sponsored by Rug Hooking Magazine. So I did 3 random numbers this morning, and I already, because I have to count the comments, what number comment it is tells me who the winner is, and that takes some time. So, and concentration, which I didn't have a lot of this morning. So the winning numbers were number 4, 16, and 25. Number 4 was you, Heather. Heather Wing was number 4. Congratulations. Heather, send your address in a PM. Everybody who wins, send your address in a PM on Facebook or else to ribboncandyhooking@gmail.com. So I can just put them in one email and send them to Erin at Rug Hooking Magazine to get the books out. Number 2 was number 16, and Aileen C., that was you. Congratulations. That book is coming your way, and I already have your address for sure. Heather, I'm sure I have your address too. I do have your address. Ignore me. And Christine, I'm sure I have your address too. Number 25 was Christine Wolf. Congratulations to Heather Wing, Aileen Castles, and Christine Wolf. The 3 winners of the 4th and last book giveaway sponsored, yes, isn't it nice to win something? Sponsored by Rug Hooking Magazine. So I thought this was so much fun. A huge thank you to Rug Hooking Magazine for being so generous with this giveaway. They gave away 12 books in all and shipping them to people. Absolutely fantastic. So that was a lot of fun, and it was a great opportunity to look at some of the most inspiring books in the Rug Hooking Magazine's book library to date, and there are always more, and I should be working on one for them too, and hopefully that's added to the most inspiring list. So it's great to see you all, and congratulations to the winners, plural. Ty, good to see you. Mahaba from the Brave to Mahaba from Abu Dhabi, bravo. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you so much. Your rabbit holes are so informative. Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun, and I had mixed feelings about going down such rabbit holes. But, you know, sometimes I just have to go with my gut, or do what I feel like doing in a terribly selfish way. Because when I started looking at the art that inspired Diane Cox that she mentioned in her interview, it inspired me too. And I thought if that happened, it might inspire you too. And I've gotten some emails over the weekend saying, oh, I went down the rabbit hole and I was looking at this artist or that artist, and what a great rabbit hole. So thank you so much. It's nice when an episode speaks to you, right? It makes me feel happy that I spent the time to do it. If it spoke to one person and inspired, then it makes me feel very happy and proud that we took the time to do that. Congratulations to the winners. Lots of fun. So that wraps up that sort of segment of the book giveaways for the moment. There will be lots more fun and lots more giveaways. Let me catch up with business stuff. I don't have anything handy right now. I'm what they call a hot mess this morning. But I wanted to tell you that the people who have ordered the Mother Nature's, what did I call it? Mother Nature's robe, those just went out this morning. This is I'm loving this. I saved some pieces for myself because I misjudged, when I was cutting the swatches, I misjudged the width, right? So I had quite a bit left over on each one, and I made them extra large. And I thought, oh, I'm going to work on something with this too. I put together the pattern that is still a surprise because they won't have reached anybody yet. There's always a mystery pattern on fiber tape. Whether you bought this set, Mother Nature's robe, as the full set, which is the above ground colors and the on the ground, or in the air colors and on the ground colors, whether you bought the whole set or one of the two halves, on the ground, in the air, you will still get the mystery pattern, right? The mystery pattern is for anyone who's interested in this set, and it's a great way to get going with having a bit of wool, right, and having a pattern like the one that's the mystery pattern for this month that really lends itself to kind of what we say hit or miss, putting different colors in different places, and you only need a little bit of each color in each place. It's one of my daughter Jocelyn's designs that I put up. It's a new one. So I refined it a little bit last night, and she's very proud that her design is the mystery pattern for this month. It is floral, it is lovely, and it has a wonderful primitive look with a little bit of an ethnic touch to it. So I think it's an exciting pattern, and I hope that you will love it, and I hope you will love these sets. So that is available on the Ribbon Candy Hooking site, of course, the new sets. I was also working on this because I probably mentioned, I was so excited, I was holding my breath. We actually celebrated my 50th birthday, me, my mom, and my sister this weekend, which we hadn't done yet, which was fine. But we celebrated, and we went out for sushi, and it was all very nice. And we came back and watched some Hallmark Mysteries. Love that Hallmark Mystery channel. And I opened my presents, and I'll show you one of the things I got was just grand. And I got to sit, which is very nice, isn't it? I got to sit and work on a new project that I started last weekend. So I've worked all in all about 2 nights on this while watching Hallmark movies, and I'm not anywhere near done yet, but I'm going to be putting this one up soon, not to be confused with the Mother Nature's robe swatch set. I started working on this pattern. Her eyeballs are not in there yet, right? Her eyeballs are not in there. So she's looking very sad. She's going to be looking quite stoic, like headstone, gravestone stoic. But she's not going to be looking quite that empty-socketed, right? She's going to look a bit fluffier. So this is how it's going for me. These are not colors that I would typically use, greens with yellow. You can see I'm outlining in a yarn that I dyed that's very multi, right? I'm not outlining in black or solid, expected kind of a outline color. It's this color changing green. And I think it's working really well. I'm loving it. And I've realized that I have been forgetting to sign my work like forever. Like I have not signed my work for years because I don't think of it as work. I think of it as, gotta get it done, let's go. And for some reason on this one, when I got to the pot design, I thought, you know what, let me sign it. And this is how I used to sign my name when I was younger. I had started putting little things in little galleries and craft shops when I was in high school and living on Cape Cod. And for years, I signed my name like this it's because my name is Deanna David. I have the two D's back to back, and just makes this one little shape. So I thought, got to remember to sign this stuff. I'm always telling everybody and reminding you to sign your stuff, and then I don't. But this piece is also up on Ribbon Candy Hooking, and this is called Mother Nature's Garden. So probably stupid of me, I should have had a V8, to use Mother Nature twice in like 1 week for two different products. But Mother Nature's Robe is a swatch set, and Mother Nature's Garden is this. And I can put it out as a kit, but at this moment it's available as a pattern. If you want it as a kit, just let me know. I also had a lot of emails this weekend because people noticed that I added more Alice Butler designs to the catalog of Alice Butler designs on Ribbon Candy Hooking. And I have a great story for you that I'm realizing I did not, well, I told it on Friday at cocktail night, right? I told you the story about finding that last rug. So I'll share it again. Maybe in the Facebook group, I'll post the pictures of the rug. The family member of Alice Butler's, Alice and Vic Butler, Vic, Hugo, Alice Butler, the design mother and son team from the 1940s to 1987 when she passed away. The nephew is called Rob Hugo, and he wrote the book about the family, and I've been in touch with him constantly. And another family member named Carol was in touch with me this weekend to say thank you, and she's so excited about everything, and she's very excited about that new pattern being found, and she sounds just lovely. I did a PowerPoint presentation, a speech to the Guild Woolen Magic in White Mountains, New Hampshire on Saturday morning. I was hoping it would be in person because I just love getting together in person, but it was over Zoom, and it worked out fine. I just prefer making connections person to person. Just for now, this is what we do, right? So it went really, really well, and there was quite a few people that who logged on and who will watch it later from that guild, hearing that story for the first time. So I was very happy to be able to share that story in that PowerPoint presentation. And of course, I sent the presentation to Rob, who sent it to other family members, and that's why another family member is now in touch. So the more the merrier. It's so good. Lisa, good morning. And Lisa put to my attention something that she posted. Lisa is in Pennsylvania, and one of the Magdalenas, right? That group there, Magdalena, Brian, or Eby, in Pennsylvania. Lisa posted on our Facebook page, which again is Rug Cooking and Punch Needle Club, an event coming up, Lisa, middle of October, right? Middle of October, that we're going to have to talk more about. But I saw that the sign, it's a rug hooking event, and the theme is fairy tale rugs, and it's an event, and there will be vendors there as well. But I saw that the sign up didn't start until April 1st, so we'll talk about that more. But in my head, I'm there. I don't know about as a vendor. It depends on how energized I'm feeling. As soon as I said that, my gut started hurting and my eyes started twitching. But I will be there as a person to at least shop. If I won't be a vendor to shop from, I will be a person to shop next to, because there's no way I'm missing that event. I will be committing to that on April 1st, and I will be reminding you about that when we get a little bit closer to that date, so you don't miss it either. We don't want any more events to get canceled because there's not good enough sign up, because I am the most guilty of once I hear something, I put it on my phone calendar and I think that's done, but it's not done because I haven't registered, and then sign up looks low and poor and not viable, and things get canceled. So we have to be careful about this to support the events that we can get to. Speaking of which, tomorrow I will, well, you know what, let me tell you right now, I emailed Donna, my buddy at Whispering Hill in Woodstock, Connecticut this morning, just to get one of her rug images from her, and I'll show you that later in this episode. But I just caught up with her a little bit because I always like to know that things are going well over there. And I said, what's happening with get-togethers and things? I know people are looking for hook-in opportunities right now. I said, do you want to plan something for over there? And so she said that they have a hook-in planned at Whispering Hill, Donna Swanson's store in Woodstock, Connecticut. I will certainly be there. It is April 6th, and it is 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. So I will be reminding you about this, and I will be posting about this. But if you are in Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and you think you might like to go and get together, I will just be there hanging out, as will I'm sure many of us. It'll be a lot of fun, great opportunity to shop. Beautiful little town that she's in with lots of nice places to eat and walk and shop, lots of antique stores. But that is April 6th from 10 to 2, and that could be a lot of fun. So that is on my calendar. And let me know if you need more information about that. I will give you more information about that anyway. So that's the news. Oh, let me show you one of my presents I got from my mom this weekend. It was so much fun. I got a beautiful quilt that I didn't bring in because I figure we talk more about rugs and quilts, but it's a beautiful quilt that I love. I have two by the same artist that I want to hang up at some point. I'm a little bit worried still about putting nice things about because my kids are still, if not wild and feral, they're at least busy. So I always worry about not any nice things being around, you know. But I got a beautiful quilt. I got a lot of nice things. Annette, great to see you. Rainy day in Tennessee. Oh, dear. But still great to see you. Perfect time to tune in. I got this amazing rug. It is a Sharon Smith design, and you know Sharon Smith is one of my favorites. And it is hooked by, let me tell you, because there's a tag on the back. This is properly marked. Design is called Poppies in the Field by Sharon Smith, and it was hooked by Donna Martin. 2017 to 2018, teacher Diane Stoffel. So this is what it looks like. Let me come do my trick. One of these days I'm going to have a colossal wipeout. Hopefully not today. So that is Poppies in the Field by Sharon Smith. And I know we've looked at this image on Coffee Times, Cocktail Times, certainly on our Sharon Smith Tribute Night. It's just absolutely beautiful. This has always been one of my favorite rugs. I thought I would have to hook it to be able to have a version of it, but this is hooked better than I could ever hook it. Even with that color-changing border, just as Sharon Smith did it. Beautiful sort of black on black marble cake background, antique black with straight black. I think it is just absolutely beautiful. So that is one of my great treasures. And when I rework my vignettes in the studio and come up for air a little bit, you know what? I see the pattern. Hang on. I will swap out some rugs and do what Linda suggested and take you on a tour of a lot of the rugs I have in the studio because they're all beauties. I am so out of breath today. Panic and stress are really getting to me. So Jocelyn's design, my daughter Jocelyn's design, I'm going to show it to you because it turns out I do have it. This is on its way to you if you've ordered part of the Swatch of the Month set, so Mother Nature's Robe, or all of it. Regardless, you're going to get this pattern. So this is what Jossie designed for this month, and I think it is so pretty because I think it's about maybe 13, 14 across, just in terms of scale, and your pattern is on fiber tape. It comes on fiber tape, these mystery patterns. So you get the Swatch set, and then you get this, one of these, and then you put it on your backing. And if you're a beginner, I always say, if you're a total beginner, just get a hold of a hook, even if it's a latch hook, tie the toggle down, and I'm going to say it because I always do. Get some burlap or something that's very handy. Don't put it on the floor. Put it on the wall. It'll be fine. And, you know, take a pattern like this. Just transfer it on with a Sharpie marker. Trace it right on and just get going with your colors. Cut them up with scissors, right? Forget about cutting machines. Cut them up with scissors and just get going and see if you like the action of hooking and see if you can get some confidence and some traction and momentum going so that you pull up that first loop and then you can officially call yourself a hooker, sorry. Just get going, right? A lot of fun. I'm seeing some, yeah, oh good, oh good. Stunning rug, isn't it, the Sharon Smith? Isn't it? Go Jocelyn, your favorite designer. She is so good and she is so cute. She is so sweet. What a good girl. Really cute. I like it too. I'm going to hook it as soon as I get a chance. I'm going to hook it too. I already have my colors ready. So I got Rug Hooking Magazine for this month. It is a gem. It is. I'm going to do the same trick that I often do, and I'm going to outline in a really odd color. I'm thinking maybe like a denim blue or a cornflower blue, and then I'm going to fill it in. I'm probably not going to use the Swatch set because I dyed tons of those and they're selling, and I don't want to use them up in case there's more left or I get right to the end and then I have to dye another. The Swatch set is, I think, 34 colors, I think, so. I'm going to hold those in reserve for the website and not like hit those myself. But I'm probably going to hook it in some of my other sort of scrappy bits that I have left over and see how it goes. It'll be a lot of fun to dig in. She's amazing. She does really good work. She does very smart work. I know her art teacher quite well because I used to volunteer at the school constantly. I used to teach quilting at the school, like for fun. To a bunch of the different grade levels before I got busy and before I had ribbon candy hooking and when I just wanted to be in the school to keep my eye on what was going on with Teddy and everything. So yeah, she's got a great art teacher and he really appreciates how well she does. So it's a nice thing. She's on a good old trajectory there. So I was super excited, as I'm sure you were, when Rug Cooking Magazine came. And there's a few, I like to go through it, kind of flip through it. I don't want to do any total giveaways or spoilers because I hope that you subscribe to Rug Cooking Magazine. It is well worth it. Rug Cooking and Atha are our only two magazines without the Wall Street Journal. So we might as well subscribe to them, support them, figure out what other people are doing, and enjoy, right? Dig in and enjoy. Make sure that you send your work in there because I will say I do see a lot of the same work sort of being recycled. Get your work in there. Your work is beautiful and it deserves to be in these magazines. So make sure you're always looking out for what they're calling out for months in advance, issues in advance, and send your work in so that we can look at it inside the pages of this magazine. It's a great issue, a beautiful issue. Crafter's Grimoire said, oh, first Linda said, inspired by your interest in lamb's tongues. You know, it's funny that you say that. I think you're right. And now that you say that, she's very knowledgeable about lamb's tongues, and she also knows the expression pen wipers, right, like on a penny rug. So I think that is much of it. But this weekend, she also started talking about Peacock Designs, and I thought this is a little bit of a, I don't know, a little bit of a feather suggestion, capping them off and then putting the straight lines down. Could be optional. That part doesn't. You don't have to sort of articulate every part of it. I am never offended, and I'm always thrilled if you take one of my designs and morph it to be something more the way you like it. That is never an insult. It's always a compliment because I know that you put your special spin on it, and that's what you're supposed to do when you do anything creative. So you don't have to do every bit the way that she's drawn it, but I think this is very lamb's tongue heavy, and I think she was thinking a bit about feathers at the time too. Some crazy conversations that happen in the background. Oh, and Crafter's Grimoire said, I was on a hooker on an assembly line. I hung parts on a suspended hook as they went into a paint booth. Oh, how funny. Oh, how funny. And Crystal says, you convinced me to subscribe. You just got your first copy a few weeks ago. Fantastic. It's exciting when it comes. It really is. And the article that I wrote about the Butlers will be in the next issue that comes out. So it'll be out in May, but it's the June, July, August issue. So that will be the next one. So there were a few things that really struck me in this issue, and I want to share some of them with you because, again, no huge spoiler alerts. I want you to enjoy and be surprised by many of the articles when you receive your copy. But there were a few features that I thought were worth talking about and looking at a little bit because they were exceptionally helpful from a teaching point of view and fun and beautiful to look at, you know. And one of them was the continuation, part 2 of the Beautiful Background series. We talked about part 1 when last issue came out. Now this is part 2, and this series is being written by Susan Grant. And she's talking about the different styles of background that you can achieve in your work. A couple of them in this issue are so challenging, I left them out. So that's more to find when you get your issue. But I pulled some out for us to look at together because they are techniques that everybody can do, even beginners. And the ones that are a little bit harder, those are ones to aspire to, right? So let's start by looking at, let's do Sharesies with this. This is going to be our, and I'm going to bring you down, and you're going to see something in just a minute. Oh, you know what? Before we do that, I forgot to tell you, this is something else I posted on Facebook, and I know that not everybody is on Facebook, understandably, but when I was out yesterday with my sister, right, because we stayed overnight at my mom's, and we went to some antique stores in Collinsville, Connecticut, which is one of my favorite towns, right on beautiful river running right through the Farmington. Beautiful old town with like florist stores and like crazy height and beautiful old houses. The old axe factory, because it used to be the axe manufacturing center of the country, and people still have bumper stickers that say "Axe me about Collinsville." It's a huge, vast antique store now. There's 2 of them there. And I found some work there. I found 3 pieces. That was all I found rug hooking wise. From an artist, and the tag said local artist, and the name was Carol Hughes. And I wonder if anybody knows Carol Hughes or knows anything about Carol Hughes. I'm going to show you those images first because those are kind of weekend images that I wanted to share just in case you said, oh, I know Carol, because these are beautiful images. I didn't buy them because I buy a lot, right? And at some point I have to be thoughtful and careful, right? Particularly right now when I'm not putting a lot of products out and I've been working on a book for so long. So it's still there, and I have second thoughts about leaving it, but it's quite close. It's a beautiful piece. It's probably about 20 diameter, and it's a nice primitive piece, and it just said by Carol Hughes, local artist, and it's obviously hand hooked. I thought this, oh, good morning, Suze. I thought this was just gorgeous. I thought it was so quaint, right? Those are lamb's tongues around the border. They're just stretched out, right? They're a bit shallow, but it is that idea. Those little rainbows are like scallops or lamb's tongues. We have different names for it in hooking. But I thought this piece was super. This is my favorite style personally, this very primitive style. And then this piece was here. See, the thing was, if I had bought one, I would have obviously had to buy all three. And then we were really talking about some money. This is a chair seat, a little bit bigger. This was probably 13 across. Maybe 14, I don't think it was 14, but it was bigger than a chair, it looked like to me, and it was so beautiful. A nice round image with a pedula type flower, beautiful dusty rose colors. The colors reminded me of Northwest Designs and Mary Jo Taylor. I'm sure it isn't one of her images, but it's just that free kind of sketchbook quality, beautiful softness to it, those kind of deserty pinks, right, as opposed to carnation pink. I thought it was just so pretty. And if you notice, there are parts where she outlines in cornflower blue. That must be where I got the subliminal message. Beverly, that first one did definitely look Penn Dutch style. Absolutely. And then she had this piece which was a Christmas poinsettia right here. And I thought, isn't that pretty? It's a pillow. And there's my sister in the background, not knowing she got photographed. She was looking a bit feverish because the stall right before this was filled with old, middle 20th century hardcover mystery books from the Crime Club, if you remember the Crime Club. She's a huge mystery reader, and she found a stack of books by an author, her favorite, who she cannot even find on eBay or AbeBooks or Amazon or anything. She found a pile of them, and she had just sent them downstairs to be safely behind the checkout desk when we were here. So she was in a bit of like a deer in the headlights, breathless kind of a moment. And I turned up these things here. You can see on the right, I rolled up the other thing and put it back. But this poinsettia pillow, these three pieces were by Carol Hughes, and it made me wonder, who is Carol Hughes? Where is Carol Hughes? Because she must be quite close to me if she's still around working on rug hooking designs. These are very contemporary. I was very excited to find them. So let me know if you find anything out on that subject. Switching gears back to Rug Hooking Magazine and beautiful backgrounds. So this is the first kind of background that they're showing. This is what's called a stained glass technique. And this is when you are using spot dyed wool. So in other words, to define spot dye, you're not just putting it in a pot and stirring it, right? You're not just putting it in a pot and leaving it there so it's mottled all one color. No, you're adding other colors to it. So you've got some kind of system going, whether it's underwater, above water, a combination, in a casserole dish, however you do it, in a microphone, rolled up like a cinnamon bun in saran wrap, however you do it, you have maybe done it mason jar style and spooned out some colors from mason jars and laid them on top of the wool in a casserole dish and created spot dyeing that way. Lots of ways to spot dye. But once you do, you get a multicolored piece of fabric. And let's come in a little bit closer. Norma Desmond is ready for her close-up here. There we go. Oh, by the way, this piece is by Susan Grant and designed by John Simowitz, or maybe Simowitz, in Acton, Ontario, Canada. Doesn't say the name of the piece. Herbie, of course it does, Herbie. Super cute. So this is a close-up of the background, and it shows you how it is not a solid, right? One of the things that can really enhance using a spot-dyed wool as a background is to do some directional hooking, and in this case, it is just vertical hooking, right? This is as straight as you can be, as straightforward as you can be. You can see that Susan hooked one round around, right, the shape of Herbie. And she established the perimeter that way, right? It really makes the perimeter safe and secure and tidy. And then she could start doing the top to bottom vertical straight shot hooking of the spot dyed fabric. And it really is beautiful and effective. So when I pull back out and we look at Herbie full blast again, you can really see variation color tones, just as if you were looking at a stained glass window and you, worth the drive to Acton, And you know, with stained glass windows, not so much. There's two kinds of glass, right, that you see in stained glass windows. It's either cathedral glass or slag glass, right? So cathedral glass is the very brilliant, solid colored glass that's transparent, right? You see the color right through. And slag glass is the thicker glass that's like a composite of like several colors, much thicker, looks more like marbled paper, um, really colorful, right? And with the slag glass, this looks to me more like kind of the slag glass. It doesn't look super transparent or bright. It looks like just many colors mottled like a stained glass window. This technique, again, is called stained glass technique. I think this is just stunning. So this is one of the ideas in the beautiful background section. This is another one of the ideas. Same article, beautiful backgrounds. And this is a penguin. We've seen this image before. Beautiful. First penguin. This is designed and hooked by Jan Gross, G-R-O-S-E, of Plain City, Ohio. This is painting your background, right? And we have talked about this too. Absolutely beautiful idea. You hook it solid, right? And you could do it natural or any solid color that you're okay with that being the base color. And then you're literally going to paint onto it after it's hooked. So let's take a close-up of this penguin and look at what this painting looks like closer up. So you can see how this is done. There is still heavy directional hooking, but this time it's horizontal, not vertical. And there is just paint softly, softly applied to the loops which have already been pulled. It is like painting a piece of fabric, right? If you've ever done any silk painting or batik, it's like painting fabric, but you're painting the pile of your loops. And it is exciting, and you can get some beautiful, soft effects this way. Let's look at another idea for a background. This is dip dyed. We've looked at this image too. I love this image by Trish Johnston of Toronto, Ontario, Portrait of the Artist. And the portrait is inside her reflection on the kettle. Absolutely beautiful. But this background is dip dyed. Dip dyed literally means that you have got, this is obviously water immersion technique. You've got, for example, a pot of water on the stove. It has dye in it, in this case, this unusual kind of citrus yellow. And you have dipped part of, maybe you dip the whole thing in, and then you're pulling it up slowly, and you're going to create gradation, kind of an ombre gradation, because the part of your piece that's in the water longer is going to be more saturated with color, more intense color, whereas the part that you pull out sooner is going to be much more pale, but the same color. So interesting technique, easy technique. And kettle number one, sorry, that's it's called, again, Portrait of the Artist, very James Joyce. And this is just a great background. And then you can be thoughtful or not about the placement of the light versus dark, but it does create variety and interest in the background. Crafter's Grimoire says, that looks like Impressionism to me. Yeah, absolutely. I think you mean the stained glass one. Absolutely. It does. And the stained glass image looked to me a lot like, if you know, I'll put it back on, if you know the artist, the 20th century artist called Maxfield Parrish, who in I think it was 1920, it might have been 1929, had the most the most ever purchased image, Daybreak, right, out on a credenza, very classical, almost ancient looking figures, but beautiful. It was more like pre-Raphaelite costume. Maxfield Parrish, you probably know who he is, and if you don't, you should go down that rabbit hole. But it was very reminiscent color-wise of those kinds of colors too, probably because, I'm going to come back to that, it is so soft. Oops, wait a minute, let me come back here. No, wait a minute, it's not letting me do it. There we go. It's so soft, right? It's soft, and also the colors remind me a lot of Maxfield Parrish. I'm going to show you the whole image again, because his go-to colors were like blue, periwinkle, purple, orange. So very, very much. One of the other things I love about this image with the penguin is the sidebars, right? Because those look to me, we see this kind of hit or miss, this sort of angular, irregular kind of almost like a broken glass pattern. We see this in antique rugs. This is a very common way to play out a hit or miss pattern in antique rugs, but you don't see it often. And when we see it here, it looks like it's in the context of ice flows or icebergs, right? It's very appropriate. But the pattern itself reminds me of 100 antique rugs that I've seen where they use this pattern, usually not a palette like blues, right? Like a monochromatic palette, usually because it's a hit or miss part of the rug. But this really reminded me of that and really tied me in my memory to older rugs, and it resonates for me. Everything about this rug does, but lots of interest in all of these images. So we were looking at the kettle, and this is a close-up of the kettle, of the dip dyeing technique. So when you've got this dip dye technique, you've got more than one, you've got one color, but the intensity of the color varies from quite light and pale to quite intense. And when you have that, you can really fool with your background, because some of it is going to look a bit faded out, it's going to look patchy, and again, it's going to create interest. And that's always something that you want. It's not distracting. Oh, hey, Joy. It's just beautiful, isn't it? Oh, you love his illustrations, Maxfield Parrish. He was fantastic. He comes up a lot in our conversations because he was such a decorative type artist. This is called shaker tree. This is a technique called echoing. And this is one of the first techniques that we learn as rug hookers. So we have got the shaker tree. This was designed by Lib Calloway and hooked by Jill Hicks of Indiana. What does that say? Valparaiso. Wow, these glasses are not strong enough. Indiana, 2019, shaker tree. Number 2. The idea of echoing means that you establish your central motif, which in this case is a tree with a little bird underneath it. And you are going to radiate, you're going to hook away from it, right? Like throwing a stone into the water and it creates ripples. You're going to ripple out or echo out from that central motif until you meet your border, until you meet the end. And it creates echoing. It creates a beautiful background effect that is not random, right? Because you're using this echoing technique. It is not mizzy-mazzy. It is not marble cake. It is echoing. It's really, really effective and beautiful. You can see around the tree trunk at the bottom how it kind of fans out like an hourglass. You see slightly different colors being used. At first glance, one tone, but then you look a little closer, not so much like marble cake, but pound cake. Very, very pale and lovely. But you can see these kind of radiating or echoing stripes coming from the inside out to the border. And this is another easy technique for people who've been hooking forever and people who are beginners. This is something very easy to try. Anita, good to see you. Good morning in London, Ontario. I loved this one too. So let's see, we have one more in this article, and then I might save some for tomorrow. We might push on a little bit. This one is astonishing. You know, I have lately, for whatever reason, been seeing the most astonishing Mcgown rugs. This is a Jane Mcgown rug, and this was hooked by Susan Grant, again in Acton, Ontario, 2013. Some of these rugs, they don't always speak to me, right? Because maybe it's just oversaturation or just taste. I prefer the more primitive style, more graphic style. But I have to say, this rug slayed me, stopped me in my tracks, as have been a lot lately. Karen posted one in the Facebook group with a red background, a family rug that just sent me over almost to the nut house. I went so crazy for it. This one by Susan is just amazing. This idea that she's demonstrating with this rug is that in the background, and by background I mean she has got like a sort of a reverse medallion. She has got a border, a heavy border with an open center. So the background, you know, in parentheses, is actually the center in this case. And this is using a repeating design element in the background. So in other words, instead of just hooking it, hey Courtney, instead of just hooking it solid green, which would have been beautiful because look at this rug already, instead of doing that, she went with the same colors, keeping monochromatic with the background. She stayed with the green, but she used different values of the green, different intensities to do this repeat leaf design. And it adds so much to the open part / background of this rug, right? It is a fine technique. Indeed, it is just beautiful. It's smart because there is some continuity of thought, of appearance, of motif. It is not distracting. If you went into that center and did a primitive shaker house with a couple of sheep, that might be distracting. But this is a motif that is already present in the design. So it is super effective and fluent, right? Our eyes fully expect to see leaves, but then when they see that center cluster of leaves in this sort of ghostly outline, it's very exciting. It's very exciting. Again, adds depth and interest. That's what your goal should always be. Add interest. Tell your story, do it as well as you can, and add as much interest as you can, right? But this is a way of adding interest that does not take away or create confusion or chaos because it is a repeated motif. I thought this was just beautiful. So this article had quite a few more ideas for backgrounds, but some of them were a little bit tougher. And I thought, let's work up to that because some of them were like, whoa, but all beautiful. Now, the next feature is called Shine, exclamation point, by one of my favorite people, Rebecca Martin. So her pattern was like the winning pattern, the chosen pattern for International Punch Needle Rug Hooking Day. And it's April 9th, every year, but this year coming April 9th. This was the chosen pattern for that day. This is, she did this with Oxford Punch, right? She's an Oxford certified teacher. Such a giving, lovely person. She's based in Colorado. This is an article about this design called Shine, with tips on how to use the pattern to have the most success, right? So it's a very, very user-friendly, very forthcoming, fun article to read about executing this design, which is the chosen design for April 9th. Article, and she really walks you through it. If you can see on the ends of those sort of flower shapes, there are sequins sewn on. So that is just, or they might not even be sewn on. They might be put, well, they probably are, right? I should read the article through and find out. I was just skimming. But she actually adds shine to shine. And I think it's just beautiful. Cheryl, it is, isn't it? It is just beautiful. So let's see. Let me see. I don't want to go too far. I want to leave some of our treasures for tomorrow. Let's leave some of our treasures for tomorrow because it's already 10 of. So the first thing I'm going to cover tomorrow is the main feature in this, not the cover feature, which is this beautiful butterfly. That is in there as a for your personal use design. But the feature that I really want to look at in depth, let's do that as our event for tomorrow, is called Hooked on Fairy Tales. And the story is by Robin Rennie. And it's a series of fairy tale rugs. I used one as the thumbnail today, and that was one that was done by Chizuko Hayami. Let's look at a bunch of them tomorrow. We won't look at all. Again, spoiler alert, I want you to enjoy the magazine when it comes, if it has not come yet. But I want to look at some of them, and I think this is an ongoing feature that they're going to be showing us some of these fairy tale themed rugs, and I think this ties into the event that Lisa gave me some information on yesterday that we're going to be looking out for. Sign up starts April 1st. But I think this is going to be an ongoing one because I remember last time I was at Donna Swanson's shop, she had a fairy tale rug. And it's not in this issue. So I wrote to her about it. Detective Dog was on the job. I wrote to her about it this morning. And I said, Donna, what's going on with your piece? It's not in the magazine. I was expecting to see it. I was hoping to see it. So she said she thinks it's going to be in a subsequent issue. So it might be that they're splitting this idea up over the course of several issues. That is my hope. But she sent me a picture of her image this morning anyway. So I have that ready for you for tomorrow's coffee time. But the idea is that the Mcgown certified teachers had this kind of challenge event where they all hooked fairy tales. And they are the teachers, right? They are like so highly and technically skilled and talented. They did such a bang up job with every one of their pieces. And so it seems like in this issue and in future issues, Rug Hooking Magazine is going to be looking at the outcome of that. So we'll be looking at the first wave of fairy tale images, and we're going to do that tomorrow because it was so inspiring and nostalgic, right? The subject of fairy tales is so nostalgic, and they are world fairy tales too. We all know how grim the Grimm fairy tales are, but these are some world fairy tales, some that I don't recognize off the top of my head, which makes it more interesting because it's great to learn, right? So we're going to be doing that tomorrow. Heidi says, I liked the thumbnail. So easy to read and also very beautiful. Yeah, it's funny. Let me show that image, Heidi. The thumbnail that I used, let me come up to it here, is what we call in English Sleeping Beauty. Hold on, let me just put down Rebecca's stunning image called Shine. There it is, Rebecca. And let me pull up this image that Heidi's talking about. It's in Dutch, right? This cover is in Dutch. And it's so funny. Heidi, tell me if I'm wrong, but so this translates literally as the schone slapster in het bos, which is like the forest. So I think it, for me at least, in my Dutch is, as you know, not good. It like the clean or the pure sleeps in the woods, which is kind of funny. We just go with just Sleeping Beauty, but it is different in different languages, same as the names of countries, right? Super, super beautiful, but it is from the cover of a book by Heerling, right, Heidi? I forget what the first name was. Let me just pull that up since we're looking at it. We'll glance at it again tomorrow. Let me see. It just says H. Heerlings, Amsterdam. So famous illustrated book cover. This image is taken from that. And yeah, the pure or the clean sleeps in the woods. Our Sleeping Beauty. Beautiful book cover. Oh, Wendy, good to see you. It's like taking a gallery walk. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I hope I can keep it up. It is for me too. Heather, punch event coming up. Oh, okay. So Heather's giving us some news. A punch event coming up in Bristol, Connecticut for World Punch Day. Just saw an email in Oslistapo. Okay, great. So to be continued. We will talk about that because April is coming up for our National Punch Day, and I will be celebrating too. Heidi, I love this image too. It is just so beautiful and so well done. We'll come back to that tomorrow. That is the only one I think that is in a different language, and it happens to be Dutch, Heidi's language, a language that I learned for years, with the 10 years I was living over there, and it's like in one ear, out the other, because I hardly ever use it. And Heidi, I know that, I'm not going to start, but the people in Belgium, for me, were very, 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 very friendly and nice. And sometimes Dutch people weren't quite as nice as the people in Belgium and Germany and some of the other places around. And it was often that the Dutch were so good at languages, right? It was very, very common, obviously speaking Dutch, but fluently speaking in English, and often German and French too, right? So many languages, because they're such a small country, and Dutch is only spoken in the Netherlands and in a small part of Belgium. It's not a huge world language, is it? So every time I attempted to practice speaking in Dutch over those many years that I lived there, people were very either polite or showing off, but immediately switched to English. And then it gave me no chance to practice. And then those very people would say to me the next week when they saw me, "How's your Dutch?" And I would say, "It's not going that well because every time I try to practice, I get detoured. Railroaded. You switch languages, and if you don't practice, it's just not there, is it?" But anyway, oh sure, Heidi. Belgian people were so friendly. So I was always very happy to go there for a little while and make eye contact and connections with people again. So I will look forward to seeing you all tomorrow, and we will look at fairy tale rugs, and we will look at the rest of our cooking magazine. There's a nice Canadian Friends connection at the end of that. So we will start our episode there tomorrow. In the meantime, if you have anything to tell me or show me, send it to ribboncandyhooking@gmail.com. Remember, I put a few new things up on the website, so there are a few things to shop for that are different. And I will be sending out orders today and working on the last technical chapter of the book, which I still haven't got out. But it's okay. We're all good. And incidentally, I had a weird kind, I'm not going to get into it, but I had a weird kind of interaction about the book. Somebody said something that maybe didn't come out right about not wanting to be in a how-to book. And I will say that this is about as much of a how-to book as Amy Oxford's books are how-to books. Full of gallery stuff, full of history, full of interest, but yeah, also showing how it's done, 14 different techniques. And I will say officially and proudly that I am super happy to be putting out a rug book that includes 14 different techniques. I am super proud of it. It is for beginners, it is for people who are interested, and I am not above sharing the craft and the how-to secrets of how to make 14 different kinds of rugs. I'm very proud that I was approached, and I'm very proud to put out this kind of a book. So I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day until then, and I will look forward to our episode tomorrow. Paula, you are